G'day guys and welcome, my name is Michael and I am the DeadAussieGamer and welcome back to my Heroforge review. Now this is the advanced review. Ooh, what does that mean? Well, Heroforge has sent me a bunch of minis that I have wanted to test out to see exactly what you can do with Heroforge without busting it up. So I did a bunch of stress test minis to see what exactly Heroforge was capable of and what it wasn't capable of. And I want to show you that today. Included in this video is, of course, a mini that I built and designed specifically to stress out Heroforge, and what they produced I cannot wait to show you at the very end of this video. So stay around and I'll walk through all the stuff that was supposed to break and tell you if it did or did not. Okay. Now, of course, I'm not a biased individual, so what we're going to show people right now is this thing. Boop. All right. That is, of course, the browser, which will show you exactly what the Heroforge browser app will show you as what you to expect when you come. Now, as per my previous video, all the colors are a little bit muted compared to what you actually get. That's just a part of the process. They even tell you that when you actually go to shop. So if you actually go into the click buy, and it'll actually make it, as you can see, a little bit duller instead of say, this is what you're probably expecting. All right. Now, this is the Plague Doctor that we ended up getting. So what areas did we stress test? Well, firstly, I wanted to stress test the beak. As you can see here, the beak has a number of leather straps and the like. And as you can see on the model here, there are, of course, leather straps. If we get a little closer, which I'm going to try and do without too much difficulty. Come on. All you need to do is, there we go. You can see there are a number of those ridges which come through pretty clear. So yeah, that I would count as a successful test for the Plague Doctor mask. The next thing I tested was the base. Now, the base figurines and gear, I've always been worried if they've got color minis, what happens if you color something on the base but underneath, like, you know, or partially underneath a character. So underneath my Plague Doctor, I gave him, as you can see as I zoom in manually. There we go. Come on, little buddy. There you go. You can see I put a little rat there. And even though he's underneath the coat here, you can see that, yep, his pink little arms have come in. His tail is sort of pink, his nose is pink, and he is actually fully colored on both sides, which it's a little bit harder to see on that side, so I'm not gonna stress on that one, but yeah, it absolutely 100% came out fully colored. So I thought that was gonna get them. I thought that was gonna be like, yeah, cool, they didn't quite color it, but no. 2 thumbs up. Well done. You have completed the Plague Doctor. Mwah. All right, next one. The next character is really a pose that I found in the Heroforge minis that I thought was impossible. This one here. Look at that. That is ridiculous. That is such a weird angle for any model to be at, and I was just I had to see it to believe it. So I made a character which was my you know, sort of gray jester. It's kind of like this morbid, you know, kind of joke teller. And yeah, this is the model that came up. Now, as you can see, he's actually on the right angle there, and without any supports, more importantly. So you can see there behind his heel, there's no struts or anything. Now, in my previous video, I talked about the ghost and how she kind of had a bit of a forward lean to her, and they put struts on the back of her, on the bottom of her feet to tie her to the base. This one doesn't have that. And if I had to be honest, the ankle joint is actually a little weak. Not so weak that it'll snap at the first sign of trouble, but it does require a little bit of care. But I'm still just impressed that they managed to do the incline. Also, again, testing out the colors on the base creatures, I did put a cat. And sure enough, yeah, cat's perfectly fine and dandy. So that model came out really nice. Actually, what impressed me surprisingly about this model is, so I put in some dark eyes with the glow on it. And I was like, you know, maybe it'll come out, maybe it won't, maybe it'll get eaten by the mask. But actually, the mask. I mean, I need more light there, but let me see if I can oblige that. Yeah, there you go. You can see there's still the kind of dark purple, and you can see the eyeball kind of nestled in there. That's rad. I like that. Of all the faces and eyes that I've done so far, that is probably one of my most standout-ish. So I'm pretty chuffed at that. Yay! He's also got a brain, and the brain has ridges. I mean, like seriously, the brain has ridges. Guys, the brain has ridges. Look at it. It's a brain with ridges. That's so okay. Sorry. I get excited. I get excited. All right. The next two characters. Well, I'm gonna put them, you know, sort of at the same time, but show you them one by one. Two characters that I'm currently playing in Pathfinder's Rise of the Runelords. We're playing in 2nd edition, and I play an inventor named Malvolo, and his construct innovation called Collodi. So the tester for this one was 2 parts. Firstly, I wanted to see, like from my previous video, I decided that whites and light colors really popped on Heroforge minis, and that was where his color scheme came from. This did not disappoint. Honestly, I think this is some of the best colorations and results that I've seen from the Heroforge minis that I've gotten so far. It's just everything just looks so nice and so clean. I have literally no complaints. The ridges, the like folds in the cloth come out super nice, and everything that I had a bold color in, so you can kind of see like the purples that are like nestled in like the sides there. Those just came out beautifully, absolutely beautifully. So yeah, again, big recommendation. Light color palettes will be your friend. Will absolutely be your friend. The puppet Collodi was, however, another and very interesting challenge. What I tried to do with him was I wanted to see the finer details of like junk. So things like his fingertips, for example, where you can actually see there is a number of little ball joints there. So I wanted to kind of see, how do the ball joints work? I wanted to see kind of like how all the buckles and all the belts work. And also, incidentally, found my favorite color for the belts. It is called Sandstone something. Let me just have a look here. It is called Sandrock Bluff. That's it. Sandrock Bluff is my favorite belt color. Anyway, so yeah, I wanted to test out and see, can I notice the difference in the fingertips and all that? And this was the result. Let's get right up close and show you Collodi's hand here. Okay, so there you go. So as you can see, Collodi's hand does indeed have the joints there. So you actually did manage to get those little details. Collodi's face has all the joints as well. You can kind of see the very distinct, like, you know, the little chin joint there, and the like. His eye glow kind of faded a little, but that usually happens, I find, with the eyes. But that being said, it's still, because of the way the sculpt is molded, you still get a very distinct idea of, like, you know, where the eye is and the face and all that. Zoom in, please. Thank you. Yeah. So, all up, apart from the eyes on this one, I think great model, and the Warforged, or the construct, or the robot, or whatever you want to have it, the actual hands and limbs and stuff like that, absolutely fantastic. All the belts, even you know, sort of cover properly, so there's no like you know, like bits that are sort of missing or underpainted. Everything is kind of connected and looks really nice. So yay! So that's that one. All right, the piece de resistance, the mini that was supposed to break the Heroforge box. Here he is. Look at that. Now, this is Yormund Gale. He is my my Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition Dragonborn Paladin who I played in Descent into Avernus Blood Wars on the D&D YouTube channel. Now, I had a number of different things I was stress testing. Number one was the horns. Look at these bad boys. Now, horns on a previous character that I'd ordered from Heroforge snapped off, and I wanted to see if that was just a common thing or if it was just me being clumsy. So I put in some more horns, and I made them really pointy. Look at those little tiny points. That says break me if anything. Next, of course, was the eye. Now, the lizard folk, I find, always have the tiny eyes. And this one, I kind of went, cool, eye patch, tiny eye. Let's see if we can get any distinction on the tiny eye in any capacity. So that was the next big stress. The final one, as you can probably see, was the chains. Now, looking at these chains, they go everywhere, and they are not supported in any way. I added, like, you know, the fire motion stuff just to kind of add it so it looks like it's twirling. But yeah, that was the this was the break me model. So enough talking about it. Let's see what happened. Dun, 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 dun. There she is. Look at her in all her glory. The model came out pretty damn good. Let me see if I can focus up a little bit more. There we go. So the model actually came pretty damn good. The chains are perfectly intact, and they actually stuffed foam between the little areas here so that it wouldn't bend or buckle unnecessarily. So he came in one piece, and there was no problems. As you can see, the horns still perfectly intact. The actual colorations. Apart from this side of the front blade, which honestly I don't really view that as too much of a thing. I'm like, whatever, I can paint that myself. Aside from that, because the as you can kind of see here, the other side of the blade is kind of more accurately what it's supposed to be colored compared to the white. Aside from that, there was no problems with this model. It actually came out looking spectacular, and now I feel a bit embarrassed because I was like, ooh, I mean, it's cool I've got this, but yeah, I was hoping for something to talk about. I don't. And so yeah, there's that. All right. Now let's look at the eye. The eye was the other important thing here. So let's zoom right in and get right up in his grill. What's up? You looking at my grill? All right. Okay, and with a little bit of assistance from our light. There we go. Now, as you can see there, just, and I mean just, by the hair of its chinny chin chin, you can see the slit in that dragon's eye. Now, I did not think they'd do that. I did not think it would make it. I wholeheartedly was under the impression that they would definitely have the head eat, for the most part, the the eye in the coloring process. It absolutely did not. It did not disappoint. It did not. It didn't get any of that wrong. So there you go. This model came in that in tip top shape. Now, before we wrap up, I want to talk a little bit about the cost of these models. Now, as you guys know, the cost of a general plastic model is usually around $50, $60, right, for one of these ones. Actually, let me double check. Let me not steer you guys wrong. Okay, so one of these models is $55 without shipping, right? That's just a typical standard model. Actually, let me get rid of that. I don't need you anymore. Okay, so a typical model, which is this big, costs about $45 before shipping, and then probably about $50, $60 depending on where you are. The model for Yormund was $100 before shipping. Now, why the price difference? What makes it so good, and is it something for you? Well, the first thing is I made him an extra large character. So this is actually the largest size you can make a Heroforge miniature, which is actually pretty massive. Even if we take away the size of the great big base, so let's say we put them like roughly on the same level, Yormund still has a good head and a half over the standard model size. And Malvola was actually made with the standard model size. So that's the first thing. So you actually do get a decent model. Now, when you make one thing big, you make everything big. And I don't know. I feel as though one of the reasons why the chains and stuff survived the trip, and why, I mean, you can even see this here, why they seem to be quite robust, right? So that's, as you can see, it's like got a twang, but then it's got that slow return to its form. It's pretty solid, right? And the reason for that is, I think, partially because it is so big. So that's an advantage, is the mini itself, as it gets larger, is more robust. The base. Now, this base is just so detailed and so cool. Honestly, because I was in Descent into Avernus, I made like the floor blood red and it had skulls and stuff. I just got that as a vanity thing. I didn't think anything of it, but it costs a bit extra, and I can kind of see why. There's a lot of detail that you can kind of enjoy with that kind of base. Plus, if you want to, you can add your own things. Like, I think that skull up there at the top between his legs, I added that one personally. But, that is where you get those things. Is it for you? If you've got large creatures like the Dragonborn, the Luxodon, or something, sure, save up a little bit, throw it out there, because at the end of the day, how badass is this? It is so cool, and I didn't have to paint it. That's the important thing. I didn't have to paint it. But if you do have to spend it on a large model, don't spend it on a human that's like, oh yeah, I'm a barbarian and I'm 8 foot tall. Don't do that, right? Don't bother. Just push it to about as high as your model will go without going into extra large, and that's fine. That's a good standard, right? Your extra large models, make sure you make something epic, right? Don't make, I mean, like, look, this guy here, $45. Sure, not a problem. He looks exactly like what he is. He's a guy. He's a spellcaster. Yep, fantastic. I mean, hell, even this dude, Plague Doctor. Yeah, cool. He's a Plague Doctor, can easily tell. Nice little model there. Fantastic. Great. $45. Easy. If I made, say, this dude, and I mean, even he's quite busy, right? If I made him a large model, like let's say I made him like the big extra large, it's not worth it, because I gain no benefit or nothing really from him being extra large, right? He's not really getting more impressive or anything like that, and he doesn't seem to stand out. Whereas Yorman, this thing could only be massive, right? This monstrosity had to be as big as he is, and he had to have the chains and stuff. I made him as epic as I could to justify the cost, because that's how much I was going to pay for him. Even if I had him dressed in a school uniform with his hands by his side, it would cost me the same as if I spent 3 days making this incredibly epic custom mini. So if you do spend the money on this, take your time, make him perfect, make him epic, make him something that'll make anyone who look at that model go, wow, right? Because at that point, you're not just looking at it for your table to play with, you're also looking at it to showcase and show people at your games. So there you go. Let's take one final look at these models, and then we will sign off. So there you go. You got Yormund in all his glory. And you can find him on the D&D official YouTube channel in Blood Wars. He was a very fun character to play. I also got to yell at a monster to try and scare it off. Yay. We then have Malvolo and Collodi, who are also absolutely rippers, and you can watch them on my DeadAussieGamer live channel, where we play Rise of the Runelords. We are coming up to the end of book 1, so you're still pretty early if you want to tune into those ones, or if you're interested in the Inventor playtest class, because I'll be playing that. We then have Jack, my GM self-insert, and his rubber ducky, and his braids, and his little kitty, who I'm going to call Salem. There you go. And lastly, we have our lovely Plague Doctor. Yes, I have a diagnosis for you. You must get rid of this Heroforge addiction. But then again, it is only a malady if it's a bad thing. Who can have enough of these Heroforge minis? I certainly can't. Mwah. Okay, I've had my fun. Thank you very much, everyone. I'm going to sign off with Yormund here, because, again, he looks epic. Thank you for everyone for coming and joining us. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, smash the hell out of that bell so you get notified whenever we go live and do stuff. Until next time, as always, from me to you, game hard or die trying. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.